Browns Jets this week. The Browns might actually get a win.
Honestly, this game should come with a viewer discretion warning. The following program contains scenes of offensive football. Viewer embarrassment is advised. It's Browns Jets. It's the basement dwellers. It's who's going to get the better draft pick. There's not a lot of storylines here to watch, but it's Browns football. It's back, and somehow, unbelievably, I've missed it.
See, I think there's plenty of storylines to talk about, whether they're good storylines or bad storylines compared to a game like a Chiefs or Bills. That's a conversation to be had. But I think there's plenty of storylines to dig into here for this game with what the Jets did at the trade deadline. Of course, we have a new play caller in Cleveland. We have a running back that's a little disgruntled. We're gonna get into it all. Where do you want to start, Eric?
Let's just start immediately in that the Jets defense, they could do something. They're not bad, but they just gave up one of their best players in Sauce Gardner.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting matchup to see what has been a flat out abysmal Browns offense go against what has been a solid Jets defense through and through, but now they are without their best players. And what is that going to look like for the team? I don't know. I think that some of these players for the Jets are going to have a fire lit under their ass because their owner, their GM, whoever you want to put the blame on, basically said, "We don't think any of you are good enough, and we're going to trade all our best assets and tank." So, me thinking in a player's mindset, I would be fired up, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, they have decent pass rush that we've seen. Um, but I mean, honestly, this game's going to come down to Dillon Gabriel and how he protects the football and what he does. It's sad, but it's true. We haven't seen great ball from him, so much that we've been calling for his backup. Obviously, that's one Shador Sanders most of the time when he's not injured. So I don't know what to expect. Honestly, I expect a mess of a game. I'm hoping that it cleans itself up because of the new OC, new meaning calling plays now, not new to the Browns. Um, but I just don't know. Like I don't trust either team at this point.
No, neither do I. I think it's going to be a wildly entertaining toilet bowl of a football game. And until we see something change in our perspective for the Browns, I'm going to continue to think that way for our team. The Jets are a dumpster fire. They, as you said when we went over the trade deadline earlier this week, if you haven't checked out that video, go check it out. They might be more dysfunctional than us in Cleveland. And that is truly, truly saying something. This is the Tank Bowl. This is, do you want to win? Do you want to lose? Me personally, I'm never in the tanking mindset ever. I don't think it does anything good for your locker room. So I'm all the way for this W this weekend. But I don't know. It's going to be extremely interesting, especially when you think about all the stuff that is surrounding the Cleveland Browns this week. More specifically, that's come out in like the last 48 hours.
Are you talking about one Paul D. Pedestra?
Well, we could go Deep Podesta, we could go Jerome Ford. Let's hit Deep Podesta first, and he's gone. He's going to the Colorado Rockies, which I think a lot of Browns fans are going to rejoice. I know you rejoiced when I texted you the information, all caps, no way.
Yeah, well, when you sent it, I hadn't seen anything. It was a busy day, so I thought he was fired when you said he's gone. Turns out he kind of looked around, saw that the ship was taking on water and said, "F this, there's a lifeboat over there. I'm going to take that while the rest of you sink." And he did just that. I think he was poached. I think he was always a baseball guy, but I hope what this signals is that we're done with this analytics crap. That clearly does not work in football. Guys making decisions based on analytics and not, and I hate to say it, but football guys that actually can evaluate talent, it hasn't worked so far. It has not worked for the Browns. It hasn't worked for other teams trying to employ that tactic. The thing about Moneyball and the idea behind it is you just have to get on base. So all the metrics that supported guys that maybe aren't big home run hitters but get on base a lot supports Moneyball. There's no equivalent in football. Maybe you just gotta get a first down, but it doesn't work the same way. So when we've tried to employ these metrics first tactics, it's been a complete failure. It's been a complete failure for the Browns organization, and I hope we're moving back into a right direction. Unfortunately, that might mean some more people need to go, but we'll see.
It doesn't seem like more people are going to go just based off of the tea leaves, but I agree. I mean, we've talked at length about Kevin Stefanski, about the fan frustration with him at this point, and maybe it's time to clean the whole house up and just start fresh. We'll see. There's still, what, 8 weeks of football left for us? We still got 8 games to play, so there's plenty of time to figure out what's going on here. We haven't even seen our other rookie quarterback, which that is a good transition, real quick, to get into the injury report. I know I mentioned Ford. We'll get there in a second, but we are 2 days through practice right now, and one Shador Sanders was a full participant at practice, making great strides, it looks like, to move towards and become the second string quarterback for this game yet again. What else are you looking at on the depth, or not the depth chart, but the injury report, E?
Yeah, I mean, Joel Bitonio is one of those names that has been a kind of mainstay on this list. He was a full participant in the last practice, though, so that makes me feel good. Nobody really sticking out. Fannin, that's a big one, and that sucks. We knew that obviously, but that's a bummer. I do wonder if that played into at all the factor of keeping Chief here. I don't think so ultimately. I think they were gonna keep him. And I love his reaction, by the way. I think I'm a fan. I told you this. It was more of a we need to move on to get assets. We're probably not re-signing him. Maybe that thinking's changed at this point. I don't know. But his reaction of I'm not expletive going anywhere. I like to see that, honestly. Like he's a good Cleveland guy. Um, but I do wonder if Fannin landing himself on that injured reserve played any factor in what they were planning for Njoku.
Well, not injured reserve, but injury report. It's a hamstring, and he was a do not participate as of Thursday, which is not normally a good sign for a player, especially a young player, for not participating in that middle of the three practices that go on the injury report. He popped up on Thursday kind of out of nowhere. Like, everybody kind of deals with hamstrings and tightness and that kind of thing. But to go from full practice on Wednesday to no practice on Thursday was kind of concerning. Same thing with Isaiah Bond. He had a foot injury and he was a do not participate both games. I don't expect to see him out there. Maybe that's a positive for the offense because they'll be forced to look at Jerry Jeudy. But I think Jerry Jeudy is going to be a highlight of this offense going forward, and they're really going to try to get him the ball. The other thing I wanted to touch on real quick, you were talking about David Njoku and how you wanted to trade him before the trade deadline. And I said no, because he's a culture guy. And you said you like to see the Cleveland. So are you admitting I'm right now on air?
No, I like to see that personally. Culture guy or not, that hasn't done anything for us. It's like talking about Myles Garrett being a guy that can turn around a game and make wins for you or create wins, but he doesn't do that because we're not close enough to actually win. So it's the same scenario with him, and I get it. We can't trade him. The dead cat hit would be so enormous; it's just not worth it. But same idea. Like Njoku's not a guy that's getting us wins. So I love it. I love to see it. You could be a big culture guy, but you're not going to trot out there and help us win either. So at the end of the day, that doesn't matter much for me. I want to win football games, period. I think I'm just fed up at this point, and I think Brown fans in general are fed up at this point. Just win, man. Like, you got to do better, Kevin. Just do better for once.
Right, 100%. We're talking about culture guys right now, and there was a running back in the news. I've alluded to him a couple times already in the show, and that's one Jerome Ford. And we are going to go over to his TikTok page real quick. And for those that maybe can't read or maybe are on a small screen, he has multiple reposts on his TikTok page about being unhappy at work, about not caring about his job for real, about his mental state being bad at work and whatnot. What was your reaction when this went, viral? I believe this was Wednesday night, not Thursday night, but Wednesday night.
My first thought was that he wanted to be traded. He thought he was going to be traded, and when he realized that he wasn't, he was upset with that. That's just my take. He's taken a reduced role with the Browns, naturally so. He should take a reduced role. We've talked about this, right? He's a guy that I thought we'd move on from the deadline, and the only reason we didn't, I think, is because he's on a team-friendly deal, and it just doesn't he's good backup fodder kind of guy,
100%, yeah.
like you'd have to replace him, whatever. Um, but I think everyone kind of expected him to be gone, and I think he was upset when that didn't come to fruition, honestly. But what a bad look from a guy that, like, just put your head down and work towards that contract next year. That doesn't look good to any team, in my opinion.
And like literally right before we sat down to record this, Eric, I was on it might have been TikTok or X. I don't remember what social platform I was scrolling through, but there was a clip of him. He was playing a game and talking about how when we're winning, the culture's great, but when we're losing, it's like people are getting caught up and stuff. And he's like, why are you going out here? Like the fan base isn't a fan of you as it is. Like naturally, we aren't just because you're not one of the best players, but you're digging yourself a bigger hole for when they return come that Ravens game, in a week from now, basically. And they say Jerome Ford, he's going to get the Deshaun Watson treatment now running out into Huntington Bank Field. Dillon Gabriel might get the same depending what he does with the Jets and if they make him the starter again that week. But you get what I'm saying.
But will he get that? Like, is it not indicative though of a bad culture, bad ownership, bad coach, bad everything? I mean, is he voicing the frustration that others are feeling a little bit? I don't know the answers to these questions. Um,
Listen, I agree with you. I get what your angle is, but you know as well as I do, like we're all poo-poo on the Browns, but if we hear a Steelers fan say something about the Browns, we're like, well, your 6 rings don't count and we have 8, or however you want to make that argument and have that stupid conversation we've all had at least once in our lifetime. It's the same thing with Jerome Ford, a guy that looks like he's going to be this year's Juan Thornhill after the season right now. I'm not trying to pin him that bad, but I'm pinning him that bad right now.
yeah, I mean, we'll see, but you got to feel for anybody on this team that wants out and can't get out, honestly. Like I'm a fan, obviously. I support my team, but it's a circus. We've talked about it. It's the constant revolving clown car, and at a certain point you kind of feel bad for anybody's career that lands here. Like we're talking about quarterbacks in the draft already. I almost feel bad for whoever that is we're gonna pick because it obviously has not worked well historically. I hope we're gonna turn a corner, but nothing so look at how we've treated Shador. Nothing so far has indicated that we are gonna turn that corner.
The TikTok viewership for that video. And if you haven't checked that one out, go check that out too. That was yesterday's video and it was a fun one. Our TikTok viewership, the people who watch our shorts a lot over on the TikTok platform, was not a fan of us even talking about quarterback. They wanted the O line wide receiver with the first 2 picks options. I saw multiple of those comments today, which I thought was interesting because I feel like the general consensus is it's going to be quarterback, barring a Shador breakout or a Dillon Gabriel breakout. And I say that in like a quarter of confidence at this point.
We need to be quarters high. We need to invest in the O-line, yes, but I think we need to be strategic in how we do that and use free agency to help shore up that O-line. Receivers, same thing. Like we have the ability to make trades and make deals happen. We've seen it all over the league this year. We're no different. We have assets that we can trade, whether in personnel or more so in picks. So I get what people are saying. And yes, those are important areas, but we do not have a signal caller on this team right now that is the starter. I want to see Shador. I want to see what he can do. My faith in him isn't that high. Like
No,
he's not a guy that I think is going to lead us to a Super Bowl. So yes, we need a quarterback. And if we think that guy is in this draft, we think that guy is going to be our guy, our new Baker. And I hate to use that, but he was the guy for a minute. If we think he's going to be our guy that's going to stick around for a while and be a franchise and face of this franchise, then we have to spend the pick on him. It's too
no,
important of a position.
yeah, preaching to the choir right now because I think that's it too. I think highly of Shador. I think he obviously I mean, I thought he was a first round prospect. Our former co-host did, you did. So I think the ability's in there still potentially. I just don't know if the team believes in him that way or if he's going to be set up to succeed, especially with how this offense has looked thus far when he does get his name called. We're talking a lot about this Jerome Ford and the culture situation. Let's turn our gears back to Browns Jets because the betting lines are out. Obviously, they flipped. We were first the underdogs. Now we are in favor because of the trades. Let me pull those lines up for you real quick. Beautiful graphic, by the way, Eric. Browns -2.5, over under 37.5. What are you feeling with this game in terms of the general prediction, the general matchup?
General prediction, I'll say, I don't feel confident in either team scoring more than 20 points. That's my general prediction, hence that over under of 37.5. Uh, Nobody feels that confident in the Jets to score touchdowns, as you can see there. They don't look too good, everyone in the positive. Judkin's still favored, as well as Njoku. He's not favored, but good odds. And then Jeudy to round it out. Browns' first drive result in a touchdown. Those odds increased in the favor of the Browns for a touchdown by about 100 there. It's still plus 350 though. And their punt on the first drive at minus 110. I think we're going to see one of two games. We're either going to see a messy football game or we're going to see the Browns that we saw against Miami because we are just superior in competition to the Jets. That
especially with our
said,
defense.
yeah, I think the defense is gonna tee off all day long. That said, I still don't know what to expect. I hope Tommy Rees is free to do his thing. I think he's a young, creative mind who could put together a solid game plan if his hands aren't tied behind his back here.
Yeah, you're talking about a Browns offense right now that ranks bottom 5 in yards and points per game at like 263.5 yards per game and 15.8 points per game. So you're not talking about a high scoring offense on either side of the ball. I'm curious to see what the Tommy Reese spark does for the Browns if they're going to try to get guys like Jerry Jeudy and David Njoku more involved, especially now that it looks like Fannin is not going to play this weekend, which sucks because he's our leading receiver. Uh,
That's crazy.
Worst
Think about that.
yeah, our rookie
Harold
backup
Fannin
tight
is
end.
our leading receiver. That's insane. That tells
Ye
you all you need to know about the Browns this year. Noah, I've gotta dig though. We've got to get a prediction from you this week.
Oh, 100%. I'll do it this week. I feel confident that the Browns are gonna win this game. I think it's gonna be a mess. If I have to get, like, nitty-gritty, I'm not I hate doing the score, man, 'cause I feel like this could turn into Miami 2.0, and we win, like, 35-10, and we just smoke them because of our defense, and then our offense does a couple nice things, and that's all she wrote. But modestly, let's call it, like, 17-10 just to be careful. Something else I wanna note real quick too, the last time Myles Garrett played Justin Fields, Myles Garrett got to him 4 times. So, I think we should touch on because they haven't named a starting quarterback yet, let's touch on who we'd rather face, but go ahead and give your prediction overall too.
For some reason, I have 20-17 in my mind, in favor of the Browns. I am going with the Browns this week. Justin Fields, which Fields are we going to get? That's the question. He could light it up when he was at Chicago. I mean, he had a run there where he was incredible, but it hasn't favored him in a while, that's for sure.
And they haven't even named him the starter yet this week. It's still between him and Tyrod. The coach will not name a starter. So I have to ask you the question, and I said Tyrod, it's Tyrod. Shout out Baker
Rod, yeah.
Mayfield for that one. Um, which quarterback do you want to play? Would you rather play Justin Fields? Would you rather face Tyrod Taylor?
I think I'd rather face Rod Taylor, even though I think he's a bit more of a gamer. Um, And I say that because we don't do well against mobile quarterbacks. Even when we spy them, they get yardage on us, and that would be my fear with Justin Fields. He still has the legs to hurt us, so I think I'd rather see Tyrod. I think we could dial up the pressure on Tyrod better than Justin Fields. That's my take, but it's six and one, half a dozen the other. Like I don't think it matters. End of the day.
Yeah, it's a tough one because you think the Jets' offensive line are one of the worst teams in terms of letting up sacks. So Miles getting pressure, but Miles getting pressure, Justin Fields having the ability to make dumb choices because I don't think he's as good of a processor as Tyrod. And if Tyrod's in there, then he can make better decisions under pressure. Is Justin Fields just going to scramble out of the pocket? Like there's a give and take here, but we're not talking about elite quarterback play either way.
No.
What did you say? What's the season? Half a dozen or what was that again?
It's 6 or 1 half a dozen the other, meaning it's 2 ways to say the same thing. Yeah,
That's what I yeah.
their biggest weapon's Breece Hall, so if we can stop the run, I think we're gonna be in a pretty favorable position this week because I really don't think if we make them try and beat us through the air, it's not gonna work out well for the Jets. It's gonna be in the Browns' favor, in my opinion, and that's I'm sure the game plan going in. They have a terrible O-line, they rely on that running game to get anything going. Expect a lot of play action from the Jets, in my opinion. Um, I think that's an area where we're gonna look good, and like you said, the defense, if we can stay off the field, that's been the trouble. The offense needs to help the defense out, but I don't expect the Jets offense to help their defense. So I don't know. It's a race to the bottom this week.
Will we see a completion from Dillon Gabriel over 15 yards?
Yeah, for a touchdown. Um, Listen, I have him in my we'll get into it in a second, but in my parlay, I do have him throwing for a touchdown. Over 15 yards, I hope so.
Air
I
yards. I'm talking air yards. I'm not talking a 5-yard curl and Njoku breaks it for 10. I'm talking 15 air yards. Is he making that throw?
I feel more confident. We saw him do it when he's pressed to make throws, like trying to come back. He can throw the ball. I think what's held him back is Kevin Stefanski. So I hope we see a bit more of that this week. Then again, he was bad in his progressions and bad in his reads. So if the first guy's not open after 15 yards, maybe not. He likes to dump it off at that point. I don't know, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say yes.
Okay. I tend to agree with you a little bit because it seems like this Browns offense does better when they're in like a tempo type of thing, like 2-minute drill or super behind trying to get down and score. I think that's where we've seen Dylan at his best. I think of that preseason game in Cleveland. I believe it was against the Rams as well, where he came in before the end of the half and then they played Shador after that. Um, it seems like when the ball and the game is moving faster, Dylan actually does better. So I'm curious to see how much tempo the Browns do on offense this year. I do get why they don't want to do it because if they go 3 and out on a tempo set, then that's only killing like 1 minute of clock off, and then you're gassing your defense even more than you already are this entire season. So I get it both ways, but I'm curious to see how much faster, how much more tempo we'll see out of the offensive. I almost said offensive line, but the whole offense to get to the line and then get plays off. One last question. We'll get to betting graphics. Do we see Shador in this game?
No. No, but I do think we'll see the NFL's first full-time vibes coordinator in Kevin Stefanski. He'll have that good hair, his arms crossed, giving that "I'm disappointed, but I won't say why" vibe on the sideline. Not sure what he's going to be doing exactly, but I jest, of course. Listen, I think he should work on reorganizing that play sheet alphabetically, maybe to give him something to do this week. Listen, I'm not a Stefanski fan at this point, and I think his days are numbered. But I hope we see more of a clean game. If we're still struck by penalties and that sort of thing, that really falls on the head coach. Then he has no excuses anymore. He's not calling plays.
Right. No, I'm with you. Do you think we'll see his play sheet in his hand still, or do you think he'll just be stoic? I don't remember what he was like last year when he gave it up. But is he going to just be stoic and talking on the headset the whole time? Is he still going to have the play sheet covering his mouth the whole time?
No, I think he will have the play sheet. He might even join the huddle just to be like, guys, remember, I am still the boss and I used to call plays. Go out there, go get him, Tiger. But no, I think he'll have the play sheet in front of him still. I see him holding it, looking at it. I think he'll be talking to Reese as well. How much input he's going to be leaning on Reese. I said it, last week or the week before. Tommy Reese has to call his own game. He's got to do what he thinks is going to put his players and personnel and the Browns in a favorable position to win, even if that goes against Kevin Stefanski's philosophy.
100%, 100%. I want to turn the attention to the defense. We forgot one injury. I just want to hit on it real quick. Carson Schwarzenegger's probably going to be out with that high ankle sprain. I don't think anyone's surprised by that. Was not a participant in practice at all this week. He did speak to the media. He was in high spirits, but I don't think he's going to play this week. That is another notch, in my opinion, towards why we would want Terod, because we don't have that linebacker depth to get to Justin Fields if he does escape the pocket. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do agree, and that's exactly what I was saying, that mobile like a mobile quarterback is just it's going to escape our grasp a little bit. So I don't want to see that in particular. And I hope Schwessinger is better soon because he has quickly become one of my favorite players on this team.
That went on the Christmas list. My mom said, "Hey, I want to get you one thing that you really want this year. What do you want?" I said, "A Carson Schwarzenegger jersey." She said, "Done deal." So we'll see if Santa puts that underneath the tree for this 25-year-old man or not, but that'll come up with it in due time. Last question, I promise. Myles Garrett, over under 2.5 sacks in this game.
I will say under this
And I
time. 2 and a
and
half.
I'll
You're
take the
taking the
over.
over?
I'll take the over. Hell yeah, I'm gonna take the over, especially with the statistics. The last time he played Fields, this Jets O line hasn't been playing well, and after that monster performance against the Patriots, he's gonna be feasting.
2.5. I don't know, but that'll be fun to see whether or not he can do that. Noah, let's get into our bets because I'm still trailing you, unfortunately, but we're back to another cold streak, the two of us.
You want yours or mine first, buddy?
Let's go with yours first, since you're in the lead currently.
Well, winners do get to typically go first, so I appreciate that. Your $10 bet from the last time we did a pregame show, we both took a break last week, dealing with the bye week, and I also wanted to honestly take a break from sports betting because it's been a rough NFL season. If you couldn't see by our standings right now, I'm doing a three-way touchdown parlay for this Browns Jets game. I have both running backs, Judkins and Hall, getting a touchdown, and I think they're going to have a concerned effort into getting Jerry Jeudy the football. So I'm putting him on here to get his first touchdown plus 1,500 odds wins you 150 bucks on a $10 bet. That's what I'm cooking with this
Con-
week, Eric.
concerned or concerted?
Concerted. That's my bad.
Okay. You're good. I like this. I don't think I didn't realize the odds would be that steep for it, honestly. Currently your earnings are what, $39?
Yeah, I'll flip back real quick. It is 36.25, brother.
36.25. So I put together my picks and I thought I was going out on a limb a little bit. Took the Patriots with the spread 2.5, took the Steelers with the spread, and then I took a Gabriel passing touchdown. $10 wins you 36. I have 1721 currently, so that would put me in the lead, assuming you don't hit yours. I honestly, when I put $10 in when I was doing that bet, I thought it would come back like 100. Just no, not even close, but that's okay. Sure and steady. I'm making my weekly donation to FanDuel. It's okay. I'm gonna get you though. I'm confident.
I'm gonna get you his crazy work. I want to have a virtual shake, shake, shake real quick. And I want to put this on the air so we both stand to it. Last time we had a live show at a bar, and I know we're about to plug that in a second, but we have one this weekend. We talked about how we should both put down a first drive touchdown for the Browns because of how well they play in the scripted plays. So you can tell me the dollar amount, max $10, but we're both putting it on the first drive touchdown for this week.
Okay, let's do $10.
10 bucks. Shake, shake, shake.
Shake, shake, shake. Um, it's funny because I meant to do that last week. We talked about it, and then I just forgot in us doing the show, prepping and all of that. And when we went down and scored on that first drive, I think your stepdad Jay was even like, "Didn't you bet that or whatever?" And of
He
course,
got
no, I
all
forgot.
excited for you. Yeah, no, it wasn't the show that distracted you. I think it was the fact that you went to go get the table jello shots to celebrate yet another successful show is what happened there.
That's possible. Those were good jello shots. That was that was a solid move. Listen, I actually went to get myself a drink and there was a minimum, so I'm like, "Well, I might as well buy jello shots." And then they're like she's like, "They're only $1 a piece." So I had to really buy a lot of jello shots to make the minimum work.
Making new friends with my mom's friends that day. It was awesome. It was great. We were all there.
It was a good time, which speaking of, great segue because we are going to be live again on Sunday. The band is back together. This time we'll be at High and Dry, which is a great little bar. Browns pregame show. We're going live around noon up until game time, but we'll be there from like 11 to 4, 4:30 whenever that game ends. Hopefully not halftime. Hopefully we're not getting the break speed off us. I doubt it this week. But come say hi, have a drink with us. It's going to be a good time. And then the following Sunday, we will be back at Muni Lot. It's getting cold, Noah, but we're gonna have enough drinks. It's a 425 game, so I think we'll be nice and toasty by then, or toasted, whichever you prefer. That's gonna be a good time. We're going live around 2. Come again, say hi. You can find that at the office flag flying high above our spot in Muni. And you should come say hi because we're giving away a nice little jersey.
We are giving away a nice little jersey. You get to pick which one, though. If you want a Cavs one, go ahead. You want a Browns one, go ahead. Tell us which colorway, tell us which player. All you got to do is subscribe and leave a comment here on the At the Office YouTube page to be entered to win. Winner will be chosen November 17th. You were talking about that Muni Lot show, Eric, and me and Miss Mom over here was talking about maybe going in for that game already too, just because we haven't been into one other than the home opener this year. So maybe it's going to be an all day affair over there.
Is Miss Mom Bree?
No, Miss Mom is my
Oh,
mom.
your actual mom. Okay, I'm like, you did not refer to Bree as Miss Mom
No, I would
because
never.
she's not going anywhere with you for the foreseeable future.
No, no,
Fair
no.
enough.
Pause on that. Pause on that.
Fair enough. Yeah, it should be fun. I might be there with you. We'll see. I'm used to the toasty sweets and changing jobs. I no longer have a suite. So I'm back with the peasants and I don't know how I feel about that.
I'll get you one of those nice warm up jackets. You made that joke off air one time. I'll buy it for you if that means you'll come in and have a beer with me and watch the Browns stink up the lake of Lake Erie.
Last time I was at a Browns game, like, in winter, like, not in a suite, it was years ago, but it was so freaking cold. We played the Steelers, and it was that game we got the, like, absolute brakes beat off of us, like, belt to ass. I was in the end zone and just sitting there miserable thinking, "Why do I do this?" And I think I went by myself because I just wanted to go to the game and no one could go, but it'll be a good time regardless. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. There's only so much downtown football left, and I think everybody should remember that as much as the product isn't the best right now. Enjoying Muni Lot, enjoying these local businesses down here, maybe walking to the game for a $5 ticket because the prices go so low because it's cold and no one wants to go. It's still worth it. It's still a good time nonetheless, especially if you catch a win. I mean, I was at that snow globe game with the Steelers last year, and that was probably one
That
of the best
was
times I've ever had in that stadium. So and that
I'm
was a 3 and
jealous of that
14
one.
season. So, yeah, it happens. It always can happen.
I wish this game against the Jets were home, because that was my favorite game when we finally broke that winless streak, on Thursday Night Football, I think it was.
It was Thursday night.
I've I've never heard Brown Stadium louder than that, and I've been, like, to good wins and stuff like that. Never heard the stadium that loud. That was a special experience.
Can I tell you a quick story about that game? I know we've talked about yours. I just kind of remembered
Yeah.
it jogged my mind. Um, I was still in high school at that point. I was playing football at
Jesus.
the time, obviously. And I remember getting home. We had a late practice that day, so I didn't get home until like almost 7 and taking a shower and doing my homework and eating dinner and doing my homework. And my mom's like, the game's about to come on, and you know me. And I was fed up with Hugh Jackson at that point already, and I wanted to see Baker. And Tarod could it was already time in my mind, and something in me told me that I didn't need to catch up on the homework, and that was one of the best games I remember in, like, my high school career, sitting down watching with my family. So, it's just little moments like that buy you all the way back in on this stupid team in brown and orange, man.
Baker. On that note, the debate never ends, but the show does for now. We'll see you next time.